The Acolyte is one of those shows that essentially encapsulates what it is to be Disney Star Wars. It has a backwards morality behind it. It breaks established canon in order to try to push a more modern day political agenda. In fact, the show was so poorly received that Disney kind of broke from their usual norms of letting things die on the vine and instead actually announced that they're not going to be renewing the show for a second season. Now, this was something that longtime Star Wars fans basically were not surprised by, but for some of the few people out there who actually did enjoy the Acolyte, they were pretty upset about this. One of those people happens to be Leslye Headland, the showrunner for this, which is not really much of a surprise because she put so much of herself within the show. It probably stings quite a bit that it was widely rejected, but she's not going quiet just yet because it was announced that there's going to be some new Star Wars merch coming out, focusing on the Acolyte, and it's actually trying to directly tie it to the Disney Star Wars trilogy in order to try to maintain some relevancy to it. But before we really dive into this, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you can, leave a comment and tell me what you think about this, and also hit the like button too because it helps out with the channel. Leslye Headland ties the Acolyte to the Star Wars sequels. Lucasfilm provides a connection no one asked for. This is coming from that Park Place. There's a major connection between the Star Wars sequel trilogy and the divisive Disney Plus series, The Acolyte. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker left theaters nearly 6 years ago and divided fans as part of a divisive sequel trilogy. A few years later, The Acolyte went into production for Disney Plus. One would think that showrunner Leslye Headland might have tried to distance herself from the sequel trilogy despite its canonical status. However, the upcoming book, The Art of Star Wars, The Acolyte, reveals that Headland intended to tie them together. So it seems kind of strange that she's trying to make some direct connections between her series that took place before the prequel trilogy and connect it to the sequel trilogy. But I mean, I think she feels like if she can basically tie her show to Disney Star Wars, then maybe they'd be more inclined to bring it back later, or at least not essentially just decanonize it, which is what a lot of longtime Star Wars fans are kind of doing within their own individual headcanon. Though The Art of Star Wars, The Acolyte won't arrive in stores until early next year, fans can pre-order the hardcover now for $50. The official description says the book showcases the production art, characters, and vehicle designs, planets, storyboards, and other breathtaking work created during the production of the Disney Plus series. It adds filled with interviews with key creatives from the series. This book offers a first-hand account of working within the new era. Okay, I mean, so far, I mean, that really doesn't sound too bad. I mean, just kind of like a production style book for this. I mean, there, even if you don't necessarily like the show, I mean, there's usually, I mean, at least for people who are interested in the behind the scenes aspect of stuff like this, I mean, there's something to get out of it. That even the Disney Plus marketing machine would offer such an expensive piece of merchandise for a show so poorly received may seem odd. After all, it's Amanda Stenberg released a diss track retaliating against anyone who criticizes it. Still, there's clearly a market for it. It's currently Amazon's #1 new release in the science fiction, fantasy, and horror television category. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I can see why people would be interested in that. And as far as Disney's perspective, they spent a lot of money on the Acolyte that they were not able to recoup. So maybe they just figure like it costs relatively minimal amount in order to produce a book like this. So they're pretty much, or at least it feels like they're guaranteed to only see profits on this sort of thing. So maybe they're like, well, at least we could recoup some money, even if it's not a whole lot. I mean, it's something for this, and maybe it could renew interest in the show and maybe get some people to give it a second chance, or maybe get some people to watch it if they haven't already. That's probably not going to be a significant amount, but maybe Disney's just figuring like anything is better than nothing. The stranger and familiar face, as you may recall, in Star Wars continuity, the events of the Acolyte takes place 100 years before the Phantom Menace. Manny Jacinto plays Qimir, who is later revealed as the stranger, red lightsaber wielding former Jedi Padawan. Headland had plans for him if the Acolyte received a second season, including revealing his true name and exploring his relationship with Dark Plagueis. Now, thanks to the art book, we know that her ultimate plan was to make Qimir the founder of the Knights of Ren, the Sith adjacent cult first introduced to the Star Wars sequels in The Force Awakens. According to the official Star Wars databank, the Knights of Ren are the elite, fearsome enforcers of Kylo Ren's dark will. So there you go. I mean, that's how she was trying to draw the connection between the Acolyte and the sequel trilogy, basically saying Qimir was created that cult, and they're the ones that were present within the Disney sequel trilogy. It's like, okay, I mean, I think a lot of people already figured as much while watching the show. I remember hearing talk about that, or about that type of connection. Of course, when they brought in Darth Plagueis at the end, a lot of people, or at least the longtime Star Wars fans, didn't like it because at best it just felt like pandering. And at worst, it felt like they were ruining another established character within the Star Wars legends in order to try to basically make their show seem a little bit more relevant than what it actually is. At the climax of The Rise of Skywalker, the redeemed Kylo Ren, now Ben Solo, single-handedly wipes out the Knights in a mostly off-screen skirmish. With their ignorable demise already established, it seems odd that Headland decided to make the cult a key plot point in her show. Does the Art of Star Wars, The Acolyte, make this connection to Kylo Ren canon? Perhaps it's a moot point. Since none of the Headland's plans made it to the screen, this new information is likely nothing more than trivia for a show many would rather forget. Arguably, it hardly rises above an outline for some fan fiction by someone who used to work on Star Wars, and it really does kind of come across to me as a desperate attempt by Leslye Headland in order to stay relevant in this sort of thing. And as I already said, Disney probably doesn't care one way or the other because they've already lost a ton of money on this series, and maybe they would be better suited just writing it off entirely, but perhaps they are just trying to find some way of making some money off of it. And they know that even though the audience for The Acolyte was not huge, there's still some people out there interested in it, as can be seen by this change.org petition that has a little bit over 85,000 signatures trying to get Disney to renew The Acolyte. Now, this was never going to happen. They were never going to get enough signatures. I mean, it would have required millions of signatures in a very short period of time, like within the first week or so, in order to get Disney second guess their decision to cancel the series. But no, it seems like this is the modern audience that they were chasing with The Acolyte, just over 85,000 people. And that's assuming that these are individuals and not people with multiple email addresses trying to sign this petition, which, with the way they're trying to push this on social media, that's probably what some people out there were actually doing with this sort of thing. So this is what Disney did. They spent billions of dollars in order to acquire the rights of Lucasfilm to make Star Wars properties. And then they tried to change the demographic of the people that actually watch Star Wars into this modern audience. So you spend billions of dollars for a built-in fan base. You get rid of that fan base in order to try to chase a new fan base. And this is what you're left with. And then all as a result of, you spent hundreds of millions of dollars on The Acolyte, and it's something that no one watched, and everyone understands at this point that, yeah, that probably was a mistake and may have actually killed Disney Star Wars or been the final nail in the coffin, because everything that's come out following The Acolyte, even stuff that is decently well received like Skeleton Crew, or even Andor for that matter, have not really mattered in the grand scheme of things, and still didn't get decent enough ratings because, people just aren't willing to give Star Wars a time of day anymore. Now the next theatrical release they have for Star Wars is The Mandalorian and Grogu, set to come out next year. Right now, the interest in that doesn't seem very high, but perhaps they can actually find some success in that, which would be the first successful thing for Disney Star Wars in quite a long time. But as it stands right now, The Acolyte is one of those things, even with this new book coming out, that most people, I think, would just rather forget about. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to hit the like button and share this video out there, because it helps out with the channel. Thank you.